Hello, and welcome to the online writing tutorials brought to you by NATE Academic Support Services. Today we are talking about run-on sentences and what you can do to avoid them. If you are watching this video, you have probably been told at some point that you have problems with run-on sentences, comma splices, or sentence structure. But what exactly does that mean? Many students believe that a run-on sentence is a sentence that is overly long, too wordy, or just goes on and on. That is not, however, the correct definition of a run-on sentence. A run-on sentence is formed when two or more independent clauses are joined incorrectly into a single sentence. This sounds complicated, but an independent clause is just a group of words that has a subject and a verb and could stand on its own as a sentence. So when you've taken two of those independent clauses and joined them together incorrectly, you've formed a run-on sentence. Let's look at some examples. Here we have two examples of independent clauses. The first says, Mary had a little lamb. We have a subject, which is Mary. We had a verb, which is had. And if we put a period or a full stop after lamb, we would have a complete sentence that would make sense and could stand on its own. In the second, we have another clause and it is also independent. There is a subject, which is its fleece, and a verb, which is was, and it makes sense if you put it on its own and have a full stop or a period at the end. If we take these two independent clauses and put them together into a single sentence, we would end up with a run-on sentence. Let's look at the example below. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Here we have a run-on sentence. A comma splice is basically just a type of run-on sentence in which you join the two independent clauses with a comma. This is also incorrect, and many students believe that they can solve their run-on sentence problems by putting a comma in between the independent clauses. Let's look at the example. Mary had a little lamb, comma, its fleece was white as snow. This is an example of a comma splice. It is incorrect. There are three main ways that you can fix run-on sentences. The first is to break down the run-on sentence into separate sentences by adding a full stop at the end of the first independent clause. In this example, you could see that we've put a full stop after the word lamb, and we've also put a full stop after the word snow. This has made it into two sentences. Each one of them is complete and therefore correct. The second way to fix a run-on sentence is to join the two clauses with a comma and one of the coordinating conjunctions, or fanboys. Those are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. You would put that comma and the coordinating conjunction in between the two clauses in the same place where a full stop or period could go. So here we have, Mary had a little lamb, comma, and its fleece was white as snow. This is correct. The third way to fix a run-on sentence is to join the two independent clauses with a semicolon. You can only do this if the ideas in the two clauses are closely related. Let's look at the example. Mary had a little lamb, semicolon, its fleece was white as snow. This is also correct. If you are using a semicolon to join the two independent clauses, it can be helpful for your reader if you show the relationship between the two ideas using a conjunctive adverb. Let's look at this example. Mary had a little lamb, semicolon, moreover, its fleece was white as snow. In this case, we've used the conjunctive adverb moreover, followed by a comma, after the semicolon. There are numerous conjunctive adverbs that can be used in this way. A quick Google search will give you a large list that you can use. Some examples, though, include however, furthermore, on the contrary, meanwhile, etc. Why is sentence structure important? Sometimes students ask this because they assume that readers will be able to infer where one idea ends and the next begins. But with run-on sentences, quite often it is difficult to get the meaning of the sentence as a whole and readers may have to reread the sentence a couple times to understand where the first idea ends and the next one begins. Let's look at a few examples of confusing run-ons. In the first, we would probably read it the first time as, "She watched a movie she didn't like the way it made her feel." That doesn't sound right, does it? If we break it down into the two independent clauses, we can see the actual intention of the writer. She watched a movie, she didn't like the way it made her feel. In the second, we could read it, "He arrived the next day was filled with laughter." Again, here we can see that there is an independent clause, "he arrived," and another one that says, "the next day was filled with laughter." The third example says, "Hunters should use caution shooting humans is illegal." If we look at it again and break it down by the clauses, we could see that the writer meant, hunters should use caution, shooting humans is illegal. Now we can see how correcting these sentences using proper sentence structure can clarify the meaning. She watched a movie. Unfortunately, she didn't like the way it made her feel. He arrived, and the next day was filled with laughter. Hunters should use caution. Shooting humans is illegal. Have you got it? Let's double check. Let's look at the following two sentences and see which one is a run-on sentence. The first says, "A man, his wife, and his 2 kids went to town to meet some friends, ate dinner at a restaurant, and watched a movie." Is this a run-on sentence? The answer is no. This one is correct. It's a simple sentence, and we have a long subject, which includes a man, his wife, and his 2 kids. And then we have the verbs went, ate, and watched a movie. All of those follow the pattern of subject first, and then the verb is all together. So that is one independent clause or a simple sentence. Now let's look at the second sentence. A man went to town, he watched a movie. Is this a run-on sentence? It is. This is incorrect. A man went to town. We've got a subject, which is man. Went is a verb. Then we have another subject, he, and another verb, watched. So basically we have a pattern where it says subject, verb, subject, verb. And as you can see in the middle, there isn't any punctuation to show the breakdown of ideas. So what we would need to do is we could break it down into 2 sentences. A man went to town, full stop, he watched a movie. Each one of those is an independent clause, so we know we have a run-on. Now let's review how we could fix this run-on sentence. If we leave it as is, of course it's incorrect because it's a run-on. If we put a comma between the 2 independent clauses, this is also incorrect because it's a comma splice, which is a type of run-on. So the 3 ways that you can correct it is either using a comma with a coordinating conjunction, a full stop where you break them down into 2 sentences, or a semicolon. And in this case, we've used a semicolon followed by a conjunctive adverb. The last 3 sentences are all correct. We hope you have found this video helpful and informative. If you have any further questions or if you need assistance on a paper, you can try these free services that are available for NATE students. You can submit a paper online or ask questions any time of the day to eTutoring Alberta. You can visit this website and you will get a response usually within 24 to 48 hours. You can also get assistance in person by attending a drop-in appointment with a peer writing tutor. If you visit this website, you will find the current schedule for drop-in appointments. Thank you again, and we wish you the best of luck in all of your writing assignments.